almost didn't write this story because I almost thought it might be too boring to tell. But more importantly, I almost overlooked a man hurting from the rough life that he'd been dealt. You see, he grew up in PA as an immigrant during the ERA of discrimination, and his city consisted mainly of a population not known for the ability to clap on beat, let alone rhythmically dance with their feet. So you have to understand that it was pretty unique for this young teen to be capable of doing both and sing. And every Friday night, man, he got the girls going crazy. Made all the boys angry with dance moves like that of the late Patrick Swayze. And then one day he was approached by a man who said, "Son, how would you like to dance on American Bandstand?" Oh, man. He'd never danced harder in his life. Practiced every single night and made sure he secured that car ride that would get him to Philly. And when the day finally came, he was filled with anticipation of embracing his 15 minutes of fame. But just as he was almost on his way, something came up. And that day he learned that almost would be synonymous with the rest of his life. You see, because it occurred again right after taking his dancing shoes off, he got himself a nice metalworking job. Where after just 6 months, he almost became the management boss. But in the middle of building his career, his daddy ran off, and his family had to move. And he ended up losing his job, so he lived out on the streets of New York City until he was 20, when he decided it was time to become a man. So with his two best friends, they enlisted into the war, and they saw a lot of Vietnam during that 4-year tour, and he stopped here. With tears filling his eyes as he looked down at the floor, he said, "If you're wondering, my two best friends almost made it back from the war." He said that when he got back, he almost had 3 marriages last. Told me he had a couple of kids that almost loved their dad, and if that wasn't bad enough, he told me he had just had a stroke, which kept him from achieving his lifelong goal of showing custom-made cars at the most prestigious of car shows. It seemed almost as if this man's life had been plagued, because almost everything that he said ended with everything he almost did. What's wrong with this picture? It's like he had been framed. Every single story of failure. Every ending the same. So I wrote this for the almost man. Anyone in this building that's ever felt that way, I give you one promise. I pray you take with yourself to the grave, because I believe each one of you is fearfully and wonderfully made, with a purpose you can't just chalk up to fate. Because the one who made you, he doesn't make mistakes, and he never stops halfway, and from his vantage point, almost will never be equated with your name. No, instead he's got your name engraved on this massive life picture frame designed to hang on this word called faith. And get this, we already put the nails in place. Go figure. I guess that's why they call it looking at a bigger picture.